let's talk about the wrestling showcase. You're going to be facing Rachel Ellering this weekend, a men's championship, a women's championship. You're going to be one of the two competitors in that women's championship match. How are you feeling going into the weekend, and what are your thoughts on getting a chance to face somebody like Rachel Ellering?
I mean, my thoughts going into the weekend are, first of all, I think you should be asking how Rachel Ellering feels going into a match with me. No disrespect, but no one has done what I've done in the last 6 months, as far as just kind of like conquering everything on the independent scene. So I don't think there's any woman that can touch me. Rachel Ellering definitely can't touch me. So I'm excited to win the championship and start my belt collecting reign.
It's confidence. So
Yeah, well, I mean, it's when the results speak for themselves, which they have so far, it's hard not to be confident at this point.
and Matt has some belts. It seems like I'll call it destiny, or maybe I'm wishing it into fruition. Like, he has the men's title, you have the women's title. It feels like that's maybe an appropriate conclusion to an event like that.
It makes sense, really, doesn't it? So we'll see, but I'm not concerned.
Okay. I do want to talk more about wrestling, specifically in-ring stuff, but I just saw this pop up, and I have to ask you about this. I need more details about this Hinge date, the magazine sale. I need the tea.
Yeah. So I literally just went on a Hinge day with a guy like a few months ago, and then he just messaged me yesterday and was like, "Hey, like if I bought one of these magazines, would you sign it?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And he was like, "Where can I get one? Like what stores sell them?" And I was like, "I have a whole bunch." And he was like, "Oh, can I buy one?" And then he cash apped me the money, and I have his address, and I'm going to send it to him. So it was an easy sale.
Was that one of the less awkward wrestling related interactions you've had?
Yeah, that was easy. Like I get to make money from the comfort of my own home, and I don't feel threatened or uncomfortable in any way. And yeah, I get to sell another magazine. So that was a very, very nice, easy, comfortable transaction.
Okay. Congratulations on the magazine cover, by the way. It's
Thank you.
the current issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Hmm.
Uh, on a different note, you also shared a recent journal entry. That was, I believe it was SummerSlam Starcast weekend last year.
Yes.
You kind of talked about, and I'll encourage people that watch this to go read the full entry that you shared. Uh, you said you took a break from wrestling. You were going through some personal issues. How did that break really refuel you to sort of go on this run that you alluded to when we started recording? Like, you've been on a tear the past few months. How did taking that break, knowing when it was time to step aside, how did that sort of recharge you?
It recharged me a lot, and I kind of learnt that early in my career because I had a pretty bad injury and I was taken out for almost a year. And I just remember when I returned from the injury, how much having time off kind of lit a fire underneath me and made me remember why I love what I do. And it kind of reset everything. And I went on a really good run and ended up getting signed to WWE straight after that. So I kind of was like, okay, you know, things aren't right. I need to have a break. It was to the point where I felt like if I kept working while I was that unhappy, it was going to be detrimental to my career, and I was going to be putting out work that I wasn't happy with and ruining my own reputation. So I was like, I think it's actually better to just kind of disappear for a bit, reset, and then go again. But no, it made me remember why I loved it. It gave me a whole bunch of time to sit and brainstorm about what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do when I came back. And I think that is kind of why I've done so well, is because you know, everything that I've done so far has been methodical. Like I wrote out my goals, as I said in that post, and one of my goals was just to be in the PWI. Like I'd never even been listed in the 500 or in the women's. Like never once have I been on the list. So one of my goals was to get on that list, and it's like, well, I smashed that and I got on the cover. So, nothing happens by accident for me. Everything that happens in my career is very methodical. It's very thought out, a lot more planned than I think a lot of people realize. So I think, yeah, having that time to kind of sit down and plan what I wanted to do was very important.
I'm glad you took the time. I'm glad you knew that, it was something you had to do, and glad you came back and you're doing the work that you are right now. 'Cause like you said, it's been really fun to watch the past few months. My first big introduction to you was when you joined NXT, but I know a lot of other people when you first came on the show, like you had a following. Um, how much of that Persia character was you?
I mean, none of it was me. Like all of, you know, especially at that time, pretty much all of our lines were written word for word for us. And there wasn't much. I mean, when you're a low level character on NXT, you don't have creative control. Like that's silly to think that you would. So yeah, I wouldn't say any of that was me. I would say the parts of it that were me were like um pushing the limits. When we did things that were really risque, or when we did things that were pushing the limits, or you know, too sexual, or, all that kind of shit, that's where I was really on board for it. Cause I was like, look, if we're going to do this, like if you're making me make out with someone every week who's not my boyfriend, then, we need to have something to show for it. So let's go balls to the wall. Let's go as ridiculous and over the top as possible. So at least it'll gain traction and get views and all of that, which it did. So that side of it, like once we were given, the story, then I was like, okay, let's go 110%. Like, let's commit to it. So that side, as far as like going really far, that was me. But I feel a lot more connected to what I'm doing now than I did back then.
Okay. On the flip side of that, is there any part of Persia that you brought with you or that you keep with you now? Something that maybe you learned, whether it was nuance or something more obvious?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I learned from that, which I kind of already knew, but I think that experience really solidified for me that like sex sells. And, if that's an element that you have as part of your character, it's a great way to get views. It's a great way to make money. It's a great way to connect with a certain fan base. Like that that is what I took away from that, was like everyone is interested by sexual content, whether it's a child, an adult, a male, a female, a grandma, like whatever it is. If you see something sexually provocative on television, it's going to turn people's heads and it's going to catch their attention, even if it's for a second, even if they like it, they don't like it, they disagree with it, whatever it is, it gets people talking. And I realized that. So I definitely, kind of kept in line with that, with my new lipstick and my OnlyFans and some of my merch and all of that, like towing that line, being a little bit cheeky, being a little bit inappropriate, but in a fun way. But that's my personality anyways, like that's not something new. But yeah, that's an element from Persia that I've definitely kept with Steph De Lander for sure.
I was going to save the plugs for the end, but DSL by SDL.
Yeah.
If you want to promote that now, tell everybody what it is.
Sure. I've got a brand new lipstick out called DSL by SDL. So I've got a matte red lip stain, which is called GTA Stripper Red. And then I've also got a lip balm. So it's like a nice minty lip balm called Low Key Lip Balm. So men, women, children, everyone can get on board with all of the products. So yeah, that's available at stephdelanderstore.com.
I like the name GTA Stripper.
Thank you. It's exactly, exactly what you're picturing when you hear that. So yeah.
I think was it the loading screen?
It's the loading screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, I talked to Matt not too long ago, and my connection, or I guess assessment, was you're kind of like his Luna. He also said that you're like his China, you're also like his Sherry Martel.
Yes.
So using that criteria as far as like relating it in wrestling terms, who would he be to you?
I don't know, because it's such a unique pairing, if that makes sense. I would say
Mm.
he's probably like for me, it feels closest to probably like Triple H in China. So I would say he's probably like the Triple H, just because I would say I probably feel closest to China in the dynamic as well. But yeah, I don't know. There's no one that I could be like, oh, it's this, because as I said, we have such a different dynamic. Like he is a wrestler, I'm also a wrestler. I'm his manager. We can tag team together. Like there are so many different kind of like iterations of our pairing that it's not just like the standard wrestler and manager or male female tag team. Like a lot of male female tag teams that you see are married or are dating or whatever. So it's like we're also just platonically friends who we didn't even know each other beforehand. So it's, I don't know,
Mm.
there's so many little intricacies of it that I feel like it's so unique that you can't really compare it to anyone else.
When I said it to him, I was like, I know you're not Bam Bam. And then I like after the fact, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, Sean and Sherry, Sean and Luna. I was like, maybe there was more to it than I thought, but you're definitely right that you guys are doing something that really hasn't been seen, especially on this level. Um, have you, like, obviously you're getting offers to work together, you're traveling with each other. Have there been bookings where you're specifically brought in for like mixed tag matches? Like I know you did the GCW match, but are you starting to get more offers now where it's like they want the two of you together for mixed tag matches?
We've done a couple, but it's more like Matt is usually in the main event. I'm managing him, and then I'll have a match like on the show as well. So it's more us having singles matches and me managing him rather than us doing mixed tags. But I would say that's because for the most part, most shows that we do, Matt is in the main event fighting for their main title. So I think that's why it's that way.
Mhm. I do a watch list feature and I usually try to get match picks. Is there a match that you've had in the past year that you're really proud of that really focuses on or highlights who the current version of Steph De Lander is, who you want fans to expect to see every weekend?
Yeah, it was myself versus Maki Ito in Columbus, Ohio at GCW. That was maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. I would
Mhm.
say that's probably my favorite match in recent memory.
Any particular reason? I
Um,
know it led to a lot of memorable stuff with GCW. Maybe you don't want to talk about the entrance being ruined, but it was fun for us.
yeah, no, just no, it was like a good match. Um, it led to a lot of fun stuff. Mackie is awesome. So yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it kind of ticked all the boxes. So it was good.
We already talked about the lip balm DSL by SDL. Anything else? Where can people follow you? You have any other upcoming appearances after this weekend you want to talk about?
You can find me at Steph De Lander on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. All of my merchandise, upcoming stuff, everything is in my bio on my social medias. I've got too much shit to try and plug, so everything is there. Go find it.
All right. There's another reason you and Matt get along. You have too much stuff to talk about, not enough time.
Exactly, exactly.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Best of luck this weekend and have a good weekend.
Thank you so much. Bye.